Today's topic of discussion is hydatiform mole. So what is hydatiform mole? It's a type of gestational trophoblastic disease and you can have partial or complete hydatiform mole. So when should you suspect a hydatiform mole? When a pregnant lady is having hyperemesis gravidarum, then when the size of the uterus is large for the expected gestational age, and when you have persistently elevated levels of beta HCG, or whenever there is history of passage of grape-like vesicles. So whenever you have all these things, you have to suspect a hydatiform mole. Okay. So why is this important? Because each mole has got a certain risk of associated developing choriocarcinoma. It can occur in subsequent pregnancies also. So what is the radiological appearance on USG? You can have a snowstorm appearance on USG in case of hydatiform mole. Now let's move on to the pathogenesis. So you have a partial mole and a complete mole. Remember, complete mole, it's always an empty ovum and empty ovum. Okay. So don't forget that. So when you have an empty ovum fertilized by a sperm and then it duplicates, you get a 46XX chromosome. So complete mole is diploid. So complete mole is diploid. Okay, or else you can have an empty ovum which is fertilized by 2 sperms. So when you see this, the genetic material is completely from the father because the ovum is empty. So this we call it as androgenesis. So I'll tell you why is this important at the end of this session. Okay. Then coming to partial mole. In partial mole, an egg is fertilized by 2 sperms. So you have triploid number of chromosomes, 69XXX or 69XXY. So remember, partial mole is triploid and you have both maternal and the paternal genetic material. So what's the difference between partial mole and a complete mole? So in partial mole, you can have some normal villi can be present and some can be hydropic. Whereas in complete mole, all the villi are hydropic. You can get some fetal parts in partial villi, whereas in complete mole, you don't get to see any fetal parts. And partial mole is triploid, whereas complete mole is diploid and the paternal, the genetic material is completely from the father. So this is about partial mole and complete mole. And when you take a complete mole, the associated risk of developing choriocarcinoma is 2.5% and there is 15% chance of developing an invasive mole. But when you take a partial mole, there is very less chance that they may develop a choriocarcinoma, but they can go for invasive mole. So you have to monitor the patient with beta HCG. So when you see a histology, this is the histology of a complete mole. So you have your villi which is lined by cytotrophoblast and syncytiotrophoblast. When you see the center part of the villi, you have all these hydropic change. There is swollen villi. You can have something like a cistern formation. You can have circumferential proliferation of your cytotrophoblast and syncytiotrophoblast. So this is what you see in a mole. Okay. So I was discussing about the genetic material in complete mole is derived from the father, which we call androgenesis. Why is this important? Suppose if you have histological difficulty in differentiating between a partial mole and a complete mole, you can go for a IHC called P57. So P57 you can use to differentiate. Why? Because, so when you take this P57, this is actually a paternally imprinted gene which is expressed only by the maternal gene. Okay. So when you say a complete mole, do you have any maternal material? No. So P57 is negative in case of a complete mole because the genetic material is from the father. Whereas in a partial mole, P57 is positive. So remember, it's paternally imprinted and maternally derived. So what happens in complete mole? There is no maternal gene. It's all from the father which is derived. So P57 is negative in a complete mole. Okay. So that's about mole. So thank you.